So let me begin with a very warm hello to all my sweet trading friends out there. You know who you guys are. You're getting up at the crack of dawn really early. You're studying the charts. You're putting in the midnight oil every single day. You're just a squirrel out there trying to get a nut, trying to find the next big play, doing your thing, grinding it out. I hope you guys are doing well. If you are, congrats to you. It's an amazing time to be alive. If you're struggling in this market, I get it. I understand we're going through a change here, and it might be the first time many of you have seen it. So let me bring this up before we get started with today's topic. If you are struggling and you're like super serious, like you're ready to cut the shit and move to the next level, go to tradewithdoug.com. Click on the private community tab and trade with me. Don't be a cheap ass. Get the deal done. I'll show you exactly what you need to do to be successful. I will guide you to the promised land and share my 2 decades of trading experience. Now, let's say you're one of those people out there, you really love the cheapy stuff. You're a crypto trader. You're a new edge, new version of 2.0 trader, whatever. We got an all new free. This one's free. Doing this one for free. Penny stocks, micro caps, and crypto only at the penny pound. Amazing start to this. Been open for like 2 weeks almost now. All these links are down in the description box. Nonetheless, stop BSing, man. Connect with me. Trade with me. One way or the other, I will help you improve. That is for sure. Now, here's what I want to talk about today. If you are holding these stocks in your portfolio, you are one step away from filing bankruptcy. In fact, if they keep going this way, you will be bankrupt probably by the summer. Now, most of you already know these, and I certainly can't mention every single one of the stocks out there that fit this criteria. So what I'm going to do is I got a method as always. I'm going to talk about these. Then I want to talk about something here that could be potentially devastating to this market as we move closer and closer to the Fed. So here's what we talk about first. I want to go about these growth stocks. The story stocks, the meme stocks, the growth stocks from 2020, from 2021 are done. They're like that pig being roasted on a Hawaiian luau with the apple in its mouth. I mean, they're getting burned. Some of these things are down 50, 60, 70%, and they're still going. They are still going. Every technical analysis indicator ever created by mankind is reading oversold, and they're still going lower. So I'm going to give you a few here. Roku, big mover. Look at this thing. I'm showing you a weekly chart. Since August, it's had like 5 good weeks at that. Just total destruction here. 60, 70% down. I'm going to run through some of these quick. Some I've actually mentioned was looking at months ago as dip buys. PayPal, what the hell? Are they filing bankruptcy this week? Look at PayPal. SQ, this AFRM, AFRM, oh my goodness. 176, 37. A couple more days like this, it'll be a penny stock. It'll be trading at zero. You have DocU. Now, some of these I understand. This was a big old COVID play here. ZM, same thing. Zoom Video. I mean, I just look at these week by week. 588 to 129. And still, what I'm showing you with these charts is there isn't even a base here. There's not any attempt whatsoever for any of these things, UPST, any of these things to stop. Now, UPST had some earnings. Maybe that's something that will help them out here. Twilio, TWLO, just, it's a massacre. It's a massacre. You guys know this, and it's not something that should have snuck up on you. In fact, if you go back to many of the market mutterings and the videos I was doing since the summer, I was talking about growth stocks are dead. Money has been doing a mass exodus on many of these since the summer. Now it's just starting to really accelerate. Now, here's what I want to talk about: overbought, oversold, and all this kind of stuff. And I want to build on something that I was speaking about at the beginning of the week when I was talking about AMC. And really the tone of that video was all about exit strategies, all about stop losses and risk management, accepting reality and not marrying or following along with falling in love, I should say, with any of these companies. Because all these ones I'm mentioning, I'm not saying these are scams. These are legitimate, profitable companies. At least most of them are. They have a legitimate business. They make money quarter after quarter. They have great management, and at least for the most part, and they're good. But yet they're still bleeding to death. And half of the world's trying to figure out why. Why? Are they just never going to stop going down? Here's the thing. Let's look at it this way. In 2020 and 2021, we really reached what I think is the end of this epic market cycle. Now, this market really flipped the script and started to become super bullish in 2015. You go back and you look at some of these in 2015, they were like $5, $10, things like TTD, Roku. I mean, and they've gone to these outrageous heights. So many of these stocks were very cheap stocks that went high. But after you got to like 2020, they really started to explode. And after we got out of COVID, it's probably one of the biggest, most impressive, psychotic rallies I've ever seen. Just this era of free money, plunge protection team, QE, throwing it all at everybody. Guys, that's over with. And you see that now in the Fed's tone, going to raise rates, going to pull back on QE. This game is over. It ain't going to be like that. Now, there's a lot of people holding these saying they're going to go back to all-time highs. Not anytime soon, man. There's going to be a lot of them that never, ever see that light of day ever again. So here's what I'm saying. It may look like a bloodbath right now, right? You say they're oversold. But what if, just what if, these valuations from these analysts were so stupid and they were so ignorant and so delusional that they just inflated these things in the world of greed. Like everybody just got caught up in it and started putting these stupid price targets, just like the AMC video I did. Dumb price targets, dumb valuations, dumb upgrades, because they just want to keep the scheme going. What if they were just overvalued by a few 100%? If that's the case, then they're just beginning their sell-off. This is exactly what we all went through in the dot-com era. Lofty, over-the-top, greedy valuations. Valuations on companies that never proved anything. Now, it's a little better here. These companies have made some money. But are they that overvalued? Like Roku. Is it really that? I mean, that's something that we now have to consider. So here's what I am saying. I've got two things. Where are we going and what we really need to look out for? I'd say every single one of these, I'm going to highlight on this. Let's move to a monthly for a better view. This is like right here, we got Twilio. I'm going to say everything that went on this epic binger from COVID, March, April of 2020. So let's just say 3 and 4 of 2020. If anything is dumping, that's where it's going to end up going. That's what we're going to go, a complete 100 moral and financial ethic cleanse. These things are going to give up 100% of that rally. Now bear with me and keep that in mind. So let's take Twilio. You're looking right down here at 100. It's already at 123. Now this may sound crazy to some of you, but just think about it, man. Just think about it. 6-7 months ago, I could have been saying that at 457. You'd said, dude's lost his mind. But here we are. Let's go a couple of these other. PayPal. Look where it's at. Here it is. It's already there. That's it. It is there. It has given all of this back. Squarespace almost has given all of it back. Here it is down at the 60s. Look at that one. Who else do we have here? Docu. Let me put this back. So Docu, you were down here, let's see. Yeah. 75, and you're at 115. So some of these guys are actually moving right in here. I'm sure this Afram is way under. Yeah, it's already underneath of that. I don't even have to look at that one. Who else did I put on this list? I mean, you can even say Oracle. I didn't even mention Oracle earlier. Same thing. All of these things are moving down into that area. There's Roku 100. These are all going back to COVID levels. It's almost as if every single growth stock is making a beeline to it. So if you're thinking buy the dip, maybe that's the true value. Maybe pre-COVID, that's actually what all of these growth companies were worth. That means everything that was made prior to that is gone. Couple lessons here, guys. You don't fall in love with nobody, because these companies ain't going to take care of you if they go belly up on some of this crap. Now, I don't know where the bottom is going to be, but I'm almost guessing that every single one of these, that's your target, COVID. That's where they were real, true, fair market value. That was the real price. Everything else was Fed induced. You start pulling off Fed life support, and that's probably what's going to happen. It's going to end up there. So that's something we have seen. And you can go through hundreds and hundreds, Okta, CrowdSpace, Paycom software, just, now you're starting to see this creep over, because I want to talk about the market here. And let me pull up the futures for a second, the S&P futures. Okay, different story here, right? I've shown you 100 stocks that look like shit. Why is this thing still hanging in there? Somehow through all of this, the market has been able to stay relatively unscathed up to this point, okay? Now let's just say, well, here's why. I'll tell you exactly why. Something I've already said. There's only been a handful of stocks. I've done a couple of videos, market mutterings and other type of videos as early as September, October of last year. And I was specifically doing one when the NASDAQ made an all-time high, and I was highlighting the fact that, out of the NASDAQ 100, out of the 100 stocks that were in there, 89 of those are red today, yet the NASDAQ is at an all-time high. Are you kidding me? That means there's only a handful of stocks, and those stocks have been those FANG names. It has been stuff like Tesla, still hanging in there. Apple, right? Still hanging in there. Microsoft, right? Those bigger FANG names, fat man names, Amazons, all of those, that's what's held this market together the whole time. That's what's kept this thing from going nuts. Now take a look at these. So I'm just going to propose something. I'm not here to spread fear-mongering, but let's just say, what happens when they start cracking? Now you might say, oh no, tech's hot. Is it? Facebook. What's going on here with Facebook? Facebook is giving all of it back, right? Facebook, look at this thing. What a horrendous chart. Let's move to a weekly. It's going back here too. Look at this. Facebook. How about Netflix? Right? Look at Netflix. As these companies have reported earnings and as things have come by, look at these now. What happens if this gets into Apple, Tesla, Microsoft? How can we not think for one moment that the market doesn't do this? That the market does not try on this pullback to try to connect with where we were in COVID at 3,500. Okay? Now I'm not trying to sell you that that's what's going to happen. But what I'm looking at is this. I've said so many times in other educational materials I have done, the market always leaves a trail of breadcrumbs for everybody. It doesn't sneak up on you. You think it sneaks up on you, but that's because we're all delusional, right? It doesn't really do that. It leaves a trail. The trail was growth stocks were dead last year. They've been in a bear market. Hell, look at Peloton. Many of these I personally liked at one time myself and did own one time myself. So I know what it's like to watch them and cut them and go, well, I was wrong on that one. And some I got out in just the nick of time. But they've been going down for a while now. The only thing that's held up the market, which most people have known, has been FANG names. What happens if the pressure gets to them and you start seeing Apple and Microsoft and Tesla and the rest of these roll over like that? Or the real estate market, once the Fed starts to lift rising interest rates up and pulling back easy borrowing practices, real estate market slows down and the bigger ones, Home Depot, the Lowe's, the rest of those start rolling over and giving back those enormous profits. Where is this thing going to go? So I'm thinking here we would be foolish not to at least entertain the idea that this whole entire market, this whole entire charade, this whole entire era of free money, easy monetary policy, all of it goes, 100% of it. And we don't stop until we get back to where we were pre-COVID. So everything that you look at, I guess what I'm saying today is, don't think that anything, if you want to buy a dip, go back to COVID, right before COVID, March of 2020, the beginning of March 2020, late of February, 2 years ago. that's your target. If you're short something, that's your target. If the market starts dumping, that's your target. Because these growth stocks have already made it there. As soon as the FANG names catch up and get anywhere near that, there's going to be some more destruction. And then when you think about it, I believe, if my mental math, this is only 30%. 30%, that's big from all-time highs. You know, it's definitely bear market sort of crash material, so to speak. But that's happened before, right? It's happened before. And it will happen again. Maybe that's this time. But to say that this is some lunatic fringe over here, remember that song? Lunatic fringe, I know you're out there. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got. I got a sneaky suspicion this is exactly where it wants to go. Because if all of this was gone up because of the Fed and they pulled the plug here, well, what do you expect? What do you expect? So here's all I want you to know. I don't know if it's going down there. You don't know if it's going down there. I just want to continue to feed the same lesson over and over again. Don't fall in love with this stuff. Let price action be your guide. If this market breaks down here under 4,200 where it was low from the last couple of weeks, do not make excuses for it. Do not say this dip has to be bought. Do not look for an excuse. Let the thing keep going because we have no idea if it wants to go lower. When it's ready to bounce, it will start showing us some logical, clean, smooth looking signs. But I don't think, based on this action, you're not seeing any big money come to work here. And I don't think you're going to see that at least until the Fed. And if they botch this one up, it's going to get ugly. Now, 10 years from now, will we be at all-time high? Of course. Market's always going to go up eventually. But for right now, 2022 can be a hell of a bumpy year. And we're due for one. So guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, like, subscribe, comment, troll, whatever you want to do, man. I don't care. I'm just glad that you're here watching. Take care. Trade well. If you need me, go down in the description box. Find a way to contact me. Look forward to working with you. Glad to service you today in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.